Hello. Today we are going to be flipping through a book called The Handbook of Baby Names. This is a guide to over 5,000 baby names by Claire Gibson. You have some letter blocks here. It spells baby, B-A-B-Y, baby. So this is the book where if you're looking to name your child, you could take a look at this. Or if you were just interested in names and like the origins of names and that sort of thing. I like that sort of thing, so I think it's interesting. The Handbook of Baby Names. You have a little baby there. There was a table of contents. So there's an introduction, and then there's boys' names, and then there's girls' names, and then there's a bibliography, and then credits, and then dedication. The introduction, talking about the wrong choice and the right choice. The meaning of names, the Indo-European family of languages, the evolution of West Germanic and North Germanic, and about this book. So the first section is for boys' names. So for each name, it has the name, and then it has variants and diminutives, so different spellings or nicknames, and then it has the meaning, and it also has notable namesakes, so like famous people with that name. So of course we're going to start off in the A section, and the first name they have, I'll just pick some names at random and go over the definition and all that. But the first one is Aaron, A-A-R-O-N. Something I never thought of before is that you can call an Aaron Ronnie. That's cute. Ronnie. And it means high mountain or mountaineer or exalted in Hebrew. And it means messenger in Arabic. And some notable namesakes are the brother of Moses in the Old Testament, Aaron's rod, a flowering plant, Aaron Burr, a U.S. politician, Aaron Copland, a U.S. composer, and Aaron Douglas, a U.S. artist and teacher. Over here we have Aiden, or it could be Hayden, Aiden. It means to help in Middle English and small fiery one in Irish Gaelic. And a notable namesake would be Saint Aidan. Here's Alaric, which could be a nickname of Rick. It means noble ruler or ruler of all in Germanic. And notable namesakes would be King Alaric I of the Visigoths, conqueror of Rome. Here we have Ali, It means Allah, God in Arabic. And notable namesakes would be Muhammad's cousin, son-in-law, and the fourth caliph, Ali Baba, the hero of the collection of tales, The Arabian Nights. Here we have Amory. Amory. It means loving person in Latin, renowned and ruler in Germanic. Here we have Anatole. It means rising sun in Greek. And the notable namesakes are Anatolia, Turkey in Asia, an Asian part of Turkey, or Anatole, France, the pseudonym of French writer Jacques Anatole Thibault. Apollo. It means to push back or destroy in Greek. And the notable namesakes are the Greco-Roman god of the sun, prophecy, and the arts, and it's a generic name used to describe an outstandingly handsome man. Here you have Aslan, and it means lion in Turkish, and it's the name of the lion in the Narnia series of children's books by British author C.S. Lewis. Oh, is that why he chose that? Because it means lion? Let's skip ahead to B, or I guess we're on B now. Barak. It means flash of light or lightning in Hebrew. Beck means brook or stream in Old Norse. Blair. It means flat land or plain in Scots Gaelic, and it's derived from a Scottish family name, in turn derived from a Scottish place name. It's also a girl's name. Blair. Brant. It means fire or firebrand in Old English. Now we're on to the C's. Carvel. It means song in Manx, or from the marsh in Old French. This is an interesting name. Chanticleer. Chanticleer. It means to sing clearly in Old French. And a notable namesake would be Chanticleer the cock in the medieval French poem Reynard the Fox. Chanticleer. Chauncey. That's a cute name. Chauncey. It means to fall in Latin, or chance in Old French, or chancellor in Old English. Chauncey. Clay. short for Clayton or Clayland apparently. And it means clay in Old English. Who would have thought? Craig, you could also spell it with a K, and it means rock in Scots Gaelic and it's derived from a Scottish family name. And a notable namesake could be Craig David, who is a British singer. Cyprian. It means of Cyprus in Latin. And notable namesakes are Saint Cyprian or Cyprian Ekwensi, who is a Nigerian writer. Now we're on to the D's. Decimus means 10th in Latin, and a notable namesake is Decimus Burton, who is a British architect. Delroy, which could be, for short you could do Del or Roy, and it means of the king in Old French. And Dexter, which you could just say Dex. It means right-sided or right-handed in Latin. Drake, it means snake or dragon in Greek. Now we're on to the E's. There's Egan, which means small fire in Irish Gaelic. There's Elvis, which you can spell with an A as well, and it means knowing all in Old Norse. It means white in Latin, and of course the notable namesake, Elvis Presley and Elvis Costello, both singers. There's Emmett, which you can spell with one T or two T's, or you can spell with an I where the second E is. And it means truth in Hebrew or ant in Old English. There's Esmond, which means grace and defense in Old English. Now we're on to the F's. There's Fitz, which is short for Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick or Fitzroy, and it means son in Old English. There's Forbes, which means fodder in Greek, field owner or prosperous in Irish Gaelic. Now we're on to the G's. There's Galvin, which means sparrow or brilliant white in Irish Gaelic. There's Gerwin, which you can also spell with a Y where the I is, and it means fair and love in Welsh. There's Grady, which means step in Latin, or bright one or exalted one in Irish Gaelic. There's Grant, which is short for Grantland or Grantley, and it means large, tall, or to bestow in French, and it's derived from a Scottish family name. And a notable namesake is Grant Wood, who is an U.S. artist. Now we're on to the H's. There's Hamish, which is another name for Seamus. It means surplanter in Hebrew, as an anglicized Scots Gaelic version of James or Jacob. There's Hassan, which means nice or handsome in Arabic, and the notable namesakes are two kings of Morocco. There's Hiroshi, which means generous in Japanese. Now we're on to the I's. There's Inigo, which means means uncertain, possibly fiery in Latin, as a variant of Ignatius. And notable namesakes is Inigo Jones, who's an English architect. There's Ivor, which is also uncertain, possibly bow made of yew and warrior in Old Norse, and possibly as Ifor, the lord or archer in Welsh. And a notable namesake would be Ivor Novello, who is a Welsh composer and actor. Now we're on to J. There's Jake, which is short for Jacob. It means surplanter in Hebrew, as a diminutive of Jacob. God has favored, God is gracious, or God is merciful in Hebrew, as a variant of Jack or John. And notable namesakes are Jake Barnes, a leading character in the novel The Sun Also Rises by U.S. writer Ernest Hemingway, and Jake, one of the eponymous siblings in the U.S. film The Blues Brothers. And there's Jem, which is short for James or Jeremiah or Jeremy, and it means surplanter in Hebrew, and appointed by God and exalted by God in Hebrew. And I think from here we're going to skip the rest of the boys and skip on to the girl section. Girls' names. Start with the A's, of course. There's Adeline, You could do, for short, you could do Addie, Lena. You spell with an E as well. And it means noble or nobility in Germanic. And it's a variant of Adelaide. There's aloha. It's a word used to convey warmth when greeting and parting in Hawaiian. There's amaryllis. It means I sparkle in Greek. And it's often used to describe country girls in classical poetry. And the notable namesakes are the belladonna lily, which is Amaryllis belladonna. There's Anita, which means Little Anne in Spanish. And notable namesakes are Anita Luce, who is a U.S. writer, Anita Ekberg, who is a Scandinavian actress, and Anita Desai, who's an Indian writer. There's Arista, which means best in Greek, or grain harvest in Latin, and it's a female version of Aristo. Now we're on to the B's. There's Basila, which means kingly or royal in Greek, or war in Irish Gaelic, and it's a female version of basil. There's Billy, which means will and helmet or protection in Germanic, and it's a female version of Billy or William. And the notable namesakes are Billie Jean King, who is a U.S. tennis player. There's Brianna, make sure you can spell with one N as well. And it means strong hill or elevated in Irish Gaelic, and it's a female version of Brian. And we're on to C. There's cadenza, which means to fall in Latin. There's kari, which means keel in Latin or flowing in Turkish, and it's also a diminutive of many girls' names beginning with Kar, C-A-R. There's Karis. Maybe it's Sarah. It means love in Welsh. There's Celeste, or Celesta, and it means celestial or heavenly in Latin, and the notable namesake is the ghost ship, the Marie Celeste. There's Cleo, which you can spell with an I or an E, and it's short for Cleopatra. It means fame proclaimer in Greek, and notable namesake is one of the muses, that of history and poetry in Greek mythology. There's Coral, which could also be Corally or Coraline, and it means pebble in Greek. And it's derived from the name of the prized material produced by the aggregated skeletons of corals. And the notable namesakes are the coral sea and the color coral. There's daffodil, or you do, for short, you could do daffy or daff. and also it's also a, I guess, variant of Margaret. It's asphodel in Greek. And it's derived from the name of the spring flower. There's D-E-E, or it could be D-D, or it could be D-D with two I's. And it's a diminutive of any name beginning with D, and it means dark in Welsh, and it's also a boy's name. There's Dina, which you can spell with an I as well, where the E is, or two E's. Oh, there's D-Ann as well. And it means valley in Old English and Native American, and it's also a female version of Dean. Now we're on to the E's. There's ebony, which you can spell with E's or Y's or I's, or you can spell with two B's. And it means the ebony tree from Greek. It's derived from the name of the tree that produces dark hardwood. There's Ella, which is short for Elizabeth or Ellen, and it means all in Germanic and fairy and maiden in Old English. And notable namesakes would be Ella Fitzgerald, who is a U.S. singer. There's Ernestina, which is another name for Ernestine, and it means earnest in Old English, and it's a female version of Ernest. Now we're on to the F's. There's Farah, which you can spell with no H or an H or one R, two R's. And it means happiness in Arabic and lovely in Middle English. And notable namesakes would be Farrah Fawcett, who's a U.S. actress. There's Freya, which you can spell with a Y or a J, and it means noble lady in Old Norse. And notable namesakes are Freya, the fertility goddess and Vanir of Norse mythology, or Freya Stark, who is an English travel writer. Now we're on to the G's. There's Gilda, or Guild, or Gildy, or Gildita, or Jill, or Gil. And its meaning's uncertain, but possibly to gild in Old English. And notable namesakes are the U.S. film Gilda and Gilda Radner, the U.S. actress and comedian. There's Gwen, which is short for Gwendolyn, and it means fair in Welsh. And the notable namesakes are a grandmother of King Arthur in Arthurian legend, and Gwen John, who is a British artist. Now we're on to the H's. There's Hazel, which means hazelnut in Old English. And the notable namesakes are a greeny brown eye color. There's Hestia, which means hearth in Greek, and the notable namesakes are the goddess of the hearth flame and protector of the home in Greek mythology. Now we're on to I. There's Inez, which you can spell with a Z or an S. And it means pure, chaste in Greek, or lamb in Latin. And it's a Spanish version of Agnes. And the notable namesakes are Donna Inez, the mother of Don Juan in the poem Don Juan, by English poet George Lord Byron. There's Ivy, which is both a Y or an I or an IE, and it means plant in Greek, and it's derived from the common name of the climbing plant. And notable namesakes are Ivy Compton Burnett, who's an English writer. Now we're on to the J's. There's Jamila, which is spelled with two E's or an I or an H at the end. And it means beautiful in Arabic, and it's a female version of Jamal. There's Jewel, which you can spell with one L or two, and it means plaything in Old French or jewel in Old English. And notable namesakes are Jewel Kilcher, who is a U.S. singer. There's Joy, which you can spell apparently with an E at the end too, or for a long form it could be Joida, and it means happiness in Old French. Then we got to the K's. There's Kalinda, which you can spell with an I or two E's, and it means the sun in Hindi. And the notable namesake is the mountains of Kalinda in Hindu mythology. There's Kendra, or short. It could be Ken, or Candice, or Kenna. And the meaning is uncertain, possibly knowledge in the Old English. There's Kimi, or Kimoko. It means without equal in Japanese. And we got to the L's, but I think I'm going to end it here and just do some flipping and more tapping.